This is not another motivational video. This is not empty hype, not recycled cliches. What you're about to hear is a truth most people never face. The truth that habits, not luck, not talent, not excuses, determine your destiny. If you've been wondering why you're stuck, why you're not where you want to be, the answer is here. And if you're ready, if you have the courage to hear it, then prepare yourself. Because once you know the truth, there is no going back. They tell you greatness is reserved for the chosen few. They whisper that destiny is fixed, that some are born to rise and others are condemned to crawl. But listen carefully, because I'm here to shatter that lie. The truth is not written in stone. It is written in your habits. Every empire, every fortune, every revolution of mind and industry was carved not by fate, but by discipline, by the repeated actions of men and women who refuse to surrender. You are not behind because you are unlucky. You are behind because you have not built the habit of doing what must be done, even when no one is watching, even when no one believes, even when your own doubts scream louder than your dreams. Habit is the quiet architect of destiny. Edison did not stumble into the light bulb by accident. He burned through thousands of failures, wired night after night into laboratories where hope flickered dimly, until his very persistence became habit. Andrew Carnegie was not handed steel on a silver plate. He began as a poor boy in a Scottish weaver's family, scratching survival until the daily habit of learning, of thinking bigger, of knocking down one door after another, transformed him into the titan of industry. Walt Disney was not crowned with castles at birth. He was fired, bankrupted, ridiculed. But he kept the habit of dreaming when the world insisted his dreams were foolish. That is the truth about the unstoppable. They are not superhuman. They are habitual. They know that the body bends to repetition. The mind sharpens to routine. The soul hardens to discipline. Look at Steve Jobs. Obsession turned into habit. Habit turned into vision. Vision turned into revolution. He built the habit of simplicity, the relentless pruning of the unnecessary, until the world held in its hand a device that collapsed an entire universe of tools into a single rectangle of glass. And you? What habit are you building? Not the glamorous kind you post on social media for validation. Not the empty kind you pick up for a week and drop when it no longer feels exciting. I mean the invisible ones. The ones that demand you wake before dawn to sharpen your craft when the world sleeps. The ones that push you to pick up the book when your fingers itch for distraction. The ones that force you to write, to build, to create, to act, while others gossip, scroll, and waste their existence. Do you understand? Your habits are your soldiers. Every action repeated is a brick in the fortress of your future. Every moment you surrender to weakness is a crack in those walls. And the battle is fought not in grand gestures, but in small daily choices. Whether you write the page or leave it blank, whether you take the run or stay in bed, whether you build the business or just talk about it. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is freedom disguised as duty. The man who refuses discipline lives in chains, chains of regret, of wasted time, of dreams half-built and never realized. The one who embraces discipline, who builds a habit of action, wakes to a freedom the lazy can never taste. The freedom of momentum, of progress, of becoming. And here's the paradox the world won't tell you. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. Anyone can dream of riches, of impact, of leaving a mark. But only those who engrave success into their routines, who etch it into the marrow of their days, will ever touch it. So if you feel stuck, if you feel trapped, it is not because you are cursed. It is because your habits betray you. You are trying to win with the habits of someone destined to lose. You are feeding distractions when you should be feeding discipline. You are worshiping comfort when you should be worshiping purpose. And purpose does not grow in a single day of passion. It grows in the soil of repeated action, watered by the habit of showing up again and again, long after the excitement dies. Look into the mirror and tell me, what habit do you serve? Because the truth is, you already have habits. Every single day you are building chains or building wings. The choice is no longer whether you have habits. The choice is whether your habits are building your prison or building your empire. Every morning you wake, you are standing at a fork in the road. One path is well-trodden, smooth, comfortable, the path of excuses, of repeating yesterday, of settling for average. The other is steep, lonely, relentless, the path of discipline, of growth, of habits forged in fire. The first path will give you short-term ease. The second will give you long-term power. Which one do you think the legends chose? Do you think Edison enjoyed failing thousands of times? Do you think Disney enjoyed rejection after rejection, mocked by bankers who told him a cartoon mouse would never capture hearts? Do you think Jobs enjoyed being fired from his own company, humiliated, forgotten? No, but they walked the steep path anyway, because they had built a habit of showing up, of pressing forward, of doing the work regardless of feeling. That is the secret. Habits are stronger than moods. Habits are stronger than fear. Habits are stronger than the whispers of doubt in your own head. The man who depends on motivation will fail, because motivation is fleeting. It comes like the wind, and it vanishes just as quickly. But the one who builds habit has created a machine that does not care about moods, weather, or circumstance. Think of a blacksmith pounding steel. One strike does not shape the sword. One spark does not forge the blade. It is a repeated hammering, the endless rhythm, that transforms rough metal into something sharp, deadly, unstoppable. That is what habit does to you. Each repetition is a hammer strike on the steel of your character. Each act of discipline is a spark in the furnace of your destiny. And soon, what was once raw and unrefined becomes weaponized. You will sharpen, your vision polished, your life unstoppable. But you must guard your habits like a king guards his crown, because bad habits are thieves in disguise. They don't rob you overnight. They bleed you slowly. The habit of scrolling instead of learning. The habit of gossip instead of creating. The habit of comfort instead of growth. These thieves rob you of the one currency you can never get back, time. And when you finally wake up, you will realize they have stolen years, stolen dreams, stolen the greatness you were born with. So you must declare war, a ruthless war, not against others, against your own weakness. You must break the chains of distraction, shatter the walls of procrastination, and exile the comfort that keeps you small. You must burn the ships of excuse and commit to the discipline of building habits that serve your purpose. Because the man who is half in and half out is already defeated. Victory belongs to those who are all in. Look at history. Every revolution, every transformation, every world-changing invention was born from the habits of ordinary men and women who became extraordinary through relentless repetition. Carnegie made a habit to learn, to connect, to think bigger than anyone around him. Edison made it a habit to test, fail, and test again until failure itself was meaningless. Disney made it a habit to dream when others mocked, to build when others doubted. Jobs made a habit to obsess over details, to refine, to refuse anything less than excellence. You cannot argue with the results of habit. You cannot fight against the compounding power of small, daily actions. One page a day becomes a book. One workout a day becomes a body of power. $1 invested a day becomes wealth. One moment of discipline a day becomes a destiny unshakable. And here is the truth most people will never face. Success is boring. It is not fireworks and celebrations every day. It is monotony, repetition, the same actions done again and again until they are second nature. But here's the paradox. That very monotony is the key to mastery. The pianist drills scales until his fingers move like water. The athlete drills movements until his body reacts without thought. The entrepreneur drills discipline until decision-making becomes instinct. The habit of repetition breeds the freedom of mastery. Do not run from the boredom. Embrace it, because hidden within that repetition is transformation. What feels like drudgery today becomes instinct tomorrow. What feels like sacrifice today becomes freedom tomorrow. And one day, when others look at you in awe, when they whisper that you are gifted, lucky, chosen, you will know the truth. You will know it was not luck. It was not talent. It was a habit you built in silence, the discipline you practiced in darkness, that carried you into the light. So I ask you again, what habits are you building right now? The habits of the weak or the habits of the unstoppable? Are you feeding the wolves of doubt or feeding the lions of discipline, because every choice compounds. Every repetition multiplies. And one day, the sum of your habits will stand before you, either as a masterpiece of power or a monument of regret. Every empire, every masterpiece, every victory you admire today is nothing more than a visible result of invisible habits. The pyramids were not built in a week. They were built stone by stone, day by day, through the ritual of repetition. Rome was not conquered by one battle, but by disciplined legions trained to move as one body. The great cathedrals of Europe were not erected by a single architect, but by countless craftsmen who repeated their craft with devotion across decades, sometimes across generations. And yet here you are, waiting for your breakthrough to arrive in a single burst of lightning, waiting for motivation to strike, waiting for luck to bless you, waiting for the perfect moment. Let me tell you the truth. Lightning does not strike the unprepared. Opportunity does not bow to the lazy. Destiny does not come knocking on the door of the undisciplined. It comes only to those who have built the habit of being ready. Greatness is not in the grand gesture. Greatness hides in the mundane, in the ordinary, in the unseen repetitions when nobody is watching. Do you think Muhammad Ali became the champion in the ring? No. He became the champion in the gym, in the sweat, in the lonely hours when the crowd was not cheering. He said it himself. The fight is won or lost far away from witnesses behind the lines in the gym long before he dances under the lights. And this is where most people fail. They crave the spotlight, but they flee from the shadows. They want the glory, but they reject the grind. They want to roar like lions on stage, but they whisper like sheep in their private hours. Understand this. The habits you keep when no one is watching are the prophecy of your future. If you wake and pick up your phone before you pick up your purpose, you are telling the universe what you value. If you choose excuses before execution, you are telling destiny you are not ready. But if you choose discipline before distraction, if you choose repetition before comfort, then you are writing the future in bold letters. I will not be denied. Think of it this way. Habit is like gravity. It will pull you downward if you let it. But with enough thrust, with enough repetition, you can escape its pull. A rocket burns with unimaginable force not to fly forever, but to break free of gravity's chain. Once in orbit, it glides effortlessly. That is the gift of habit. Once established, it requires less force, less struggle, because it becomes who you are. The hardest part is ignition. The hardest part is the first 30 days, the first 60 days, when your old habits cling to you like chains. But if you fight through, if you persist, one day it becomes effortless. One day it becomes identity. And that is the real secret. Habits are not just actions, they are identity. The man who reads every day does not just read. He is a reader. The woman who runs every day does not just run. She is a runner. The entrepreneur who builds every day does not just work. He is a builder. Identity is forged through repetition. And once you believe in that identity, nothing can stop you. That is why the small choices matter so much. Because every repetition is a vote for the person you are becoming. Every time you choose to work out, you vote for the identity of strength. Every time you choose focus, you vote for the identity of mastery. Every time you choose gratitude, you vote for the identity of abundance. And slowly, invisibly, you cast thousands of votes until one day the election is over and your new self stands victorious. But here's the warning. The same law applies to weakness. Every time you procrastinate, you vote for laziness. Every time you complain, you vote for victimhood. Every time you indulge, you vote for weakness. And one day, those votes will accumulate too, and you will wake up trapped in an identity you never wanted, bound by chains you forged with your own hands. So the question becomes urgent. Which self are you voting for today? Which destiny are you rehearsing? Because your habits are the ballots of your future. And time is the ballot box that never lies. When you study the giants of history, you notice something powerful. Their habits outlive them. Carnegie's systems of business, Edison's relentless experimentation, Disney's culture imagination, Jobs' obsession with design. Their habits became legacies. They built discipline so strong they continued shaping the world even after death. That is a true measure of unstoppable. when your habits echo through eternity. So do not underestimate your small daily actions. They may feel insignificant now, but they are seeds. A seed looks powerless compared to a tree, but within it lies forests. Your daily habit is that seed. If you water it with discipline, protect it with resilience, feed it with vision, one day it will tower above everything else, unshakable, undeniable. The world is full of people waiting for miracles. You don't need miracles. You need habits. Because when you build the right habits, you become the miracle. Do you know why most people never rise? Because they confuse intensity with consistency. They go all in for 3 days, burn with fire for a week, shout their affirmations for a month, and then fade. They sprint at the start, collapse at the first hill, and wonder why they never finish the marathon. But champions are not built in sprints. Champions are built in marathons. Champions are built when you lace up your shoes again and again and again, even when your legs ache, even when your heart resists, even when your mind screams for comfort. Champions are built in the act of showing up, not once, not twice, but every single day until the act itself becomes who they are. Habits are not fireworks. They are furnaces. They do not explode once in brilliance. They burn endlessly, providing heat through long winters of resistance. And if you want to be unstoppable, you must learn to stop worshiping the short-lived spark and start bowing to the steady flame. Look at Thomas Edison. 10,000 experiments, 10,000 failures, 10,000 repetitions. And people mock him. They laughed at his wasted time. They whispered that he was insane. But Edison understood the law of habit. He understood that success is not a single victory, but the byproduct of 1,000 repetitions. And one day, the world lit up because of his refusal to quit. Think of Walt Disney, fired from a newspaper because he lacked imagination, bankrupt, rejected by hundreds of financiers, betrayed by partners. Yet he persisted. Every morning, he picked up his pencil again. Every day, he breathed life into his dream brick by brick, sketch by sketch. And one day, the world saw a mouse that became an empire. Think of Steve Jobs. He was thrown out of his own company, humiliated, labeled a failure. But while others would have surrendered, Jobs rebuilt, reinvented, and returned. Why? Because his habit was vision. His habit was obsession. His habit was refusing to compromise on what he believed in. That is a force of discipline when it becomes identity. It cannot be erased, even by rejection, even by exile. And you, yes, you have that same fire inside. But here's the truth. The fire is suffocating under layers of distraction, instant gratification, and fear. Every time you scroll instead of study, you smother the flame. Every time you choose comfort instead of courage, you pour water on your own fire. And then you wonder why your life feels cold. The cure is not complicated. The cure is habit. Replace distraction with discipline. Replace hesitation with action. Replace complaint with gratitude. Replace comfort with challenge. And do it not once, but daily, until it becomes second nature. Imagine this. If you woke up tomorrow and committed to just one powerful habit and repeated it for a year, your life would look unrecognizable. Imagine if you committed to reading 1 hour a day. In a year, you have consumed 30 to 40 books. Imagine if you committed to exercising every day. In a year, your body would be stronger, your energy sharper, your confidence unshakable. Imagine if you committed to writing every day, building every day, learning every day. 1 year of habit can accomplish what 10 years of wishful thinking will never achieve. But here's the tragedy. Most people won't last 1 week. They will break at the first discomfort. They will surrender to the first excuse. They will choose the dopamine of distraction over the discipline of destiny. And then, 10 years later, they will wonder why their lives are still the same. Do not let that be your story. You are not here to repeat the cycle of mediocrity. You are not here to drown in the ocean of excuses. You are here to rise, to conquer, to build a habit that transforms you into a force of nature. Think of bamboo. For 5 years you water it and nothing happens. 5 years of silence, of nothingness, of waiting. And then in the 6th year, it shoots up 80 feet in 6 weeks. Did it grow in 6 weeks? No. It grew in 5 years of invisible habit, in roots spreading beneath the soil, preparing for its moment. That is your life. Your breakthrough is underground. It is hidden in the repetition you despise, in consistency you avoid. But if you persist, if you keep showing up, one day you will explode into the sky. And when you do, the world will call it luck. They will call it overnight success. They will call it destiny. But you will know the truth. It was habit. It was discipline. It was a daily grind no one saw. The furnace you built in silence. The roots you watered in the dark. This is why I say, build a habit, become unstoppable. Because once your habits align with your vision, nothing can touch you. Not failure, not rejection, not delay. You will keep moving, keep building, keep rising. Because habits are stronger than moods, stronger than obstacles, stronger than the storms of life. You do not need to feel inspired every day. You need only to be disciplined every day. You do not need the world to cheer you on. You need only the habit that whispers, keep going. And if you keep going long enough, you will look back one day and realize you'll become unstoppable. There comes a moment in every life when excuses grow heavier than the dream, when the voice of comfort seduces you louder than the call of destiny. When you stand at a crossroads, one road paved with ease, the other paved with sweat, sacrifice, and struggle. And in that moment, everything hinges on the choice you make. Most choose the easy road. They retreat into the ordinary. They convince themselves they'll try again tomorrow, that someday the timing will be perfect. But someday never comes. And when they finally open their eyes, the years have vanished. The dreams have evaporated. The fire has turned to ash. But a few, a rare few, choose the other road. The narrow road, the brutal road, the road where no applause waits, no shortcut appears, no guarantees exist. They choose discipline over distraction. They choose persistence over pleasure. They choose a habit that bends steel, breaks resistance, and forges destiny. And those few become unstoppable. Let me tell you something you must etch into your soul. Success does not belong to the most talented. It does not belong to the smartest. It does not belong to the luckiest. Success belongs to the most disciplined, to the one who shows up daily, even when the fire has dimmed, to the one who acts without waiting for permission, to the one who builds habits so strong they no longer need willpower, because action has become identity. Look back through history. Andrew Carnegie did not inherit wealth. He built it brick by brick, habit by habit. Oprah Winfrey did not inherit influence. She built it through relentless preparation and resilience. Muhammad Ali did not win because he loved training. He won because he trained even when he hated it. That is the paradox of greatness. The discipline you resist today is the very discipline that will crown you tomorrow. You may not see it now, but every repetition matters. Every rep in the gym, every page you read, every line you write, every dollar you save, every call you make, they stack, they compound. And one day, they break through. One day, the world will look at you in shock, asking, how did you do it? And you will smile because you'll know the truth. You did it when no one was watching. Habit is not glamorous. It is not glorious. It is boring. It is repetitive. It is unsexy. But that is why it works. Because while the world chases novelty, you build foundations. While the world chases dopamine, you build discipline. While the world chases shortcuts, you build systems. And when the storm comes, and it will, your foundation will not crumble. You will stand unshaken, unstoppable. Let's be clear, life will not spare you pain. You will be knocked down. You will be betrayed. You will be underestimated. You will fail. But here's the question. Will you stay down or will you rise again? Will you build a habit of resilience so strong that no blow can break you? Because make no mistake, resilience is a habit too. Every time you rise after falling, every time you stand after stumbling, you carve strength into your soul. And gratitude, yes, gratitude is a habit. You think it's a feeling? No, it's a choice, a discipline, a muscle. And the ones who practice it daily, who choose to see blessings even in storms, who choose to say, thank you even in the fire, they're the ones who rise highest. Because gratitude unlocks energy. It unlocks vision. It makes you unstoppable. So here's the truth. Your future is not written in the stars. It is written in your habits. Your destiny is not decided by fate. It is decided by the small, repeated actions you take every single day. Your greatness is not hidden in some secret formula. It is hidden in what you do when no one is watching. You want freedom? Build the habit. You want wealth? Build the habit. You want influence? Build the habit. You want love, respect, legacy? Build the habit. Because habit is not just what you do. Habit is who you become. Every choice is a brick. Every day is a hammer. Every repetition is cement. And one day, you will look up and realize you built a fortress no storm can touch. The truth is simple but brutal. If you do not master your habits will master you. If you do not design your habits will design your destiny. You will either rise by discipline or you will sink by default. There is no middle ground. So decide. Decide today. Not tomorrow, not someday. Decide now. Who do you want to be? What life do you want to build? What legacy do you want to leave? And then, don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Act. Build. Repeat. Because when you build a habit, when you refuse to quit, when you keep stacking bricks day after day, you become something far greater than talented, far greater than gifted, far greater than lucky. You become unstoppable. And the world does not stop the unstoppable. The world bows to it. So rise, build the habit, become unstoppable, and watch the universe open its doors to the one who refuses to surrender.